My name's Pauline Chalk. Up until March of this year, I was responsible for a research project looking at the issues for alcohol and the over 55s. The project looked at what the whole research world, looked at what research had been done nationally, looked at what the figures were, and we tried to find out how big the problem was and what resources there were in order to address the problem.
Brilliant, Pauline. How important do you feel targeted support for the over 50s is?
I think it's very important. As people get older, they start to feel more marginalised, and unless you give people information that allows them to make informed choices, then they may not make choices that are most beneficial to their health and well-being.
What do you think social isolation, how big a part do you think that plays in the silent epidemic?
I think it plays a huge part. When people start to lose their social networks, when they start to lose partners and family and friends, their sense of being disconnected from the world can be quite overwhelming. And very often people will seek comfort in alcohol.
Fantastic. How aware do you think these individuals are, or support services of these issues?
I think there's you can't have a blanket statement for all older people, but there is no doubt that some older people will not have a clue about what services are available, or the confidence to find out, and unless there's an assertive approach to getting the information to them, then they remain at home unaware and the isolation continues. I think lots of people who are delivering services aren't always aware of what's available for people who are struggling with their alcohol use. They have their own issues in terms of their own knowledge and confidence in the skills that they have to raise the issue with their clients.
Right. How effective do you feel the strategies already in place have been for older people?
I don't think it's been effective at all. I don't think enough time and all resources have been put in place to address the problem.
Right. So, how surprised were you at the results of the research that you undertook and the kind of work that you put in place?
I think it was a huge learning curve for me. Huge learning curve. And so, as time went on and my contact time with people increased, I became less surprised at the amount that people were drinking, given the amount of distress and sadness that a lot of people live with in isolation.
Okay, thank you. And really, what would your advice be for timely, effective interventions based on what you found out during your research?
I think a lot more thought has to be put into how people are supported at major times of change in their life. There needs to be more support for professionals to give them the confidence to raise the issues with people, and more support for people so that they can be hopeful about the future rather than not being able to see a future at all.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much for that.